All right. We'll be going live in just a minute. Okay, guys, we are live.
Well, good afternoon, humans of Facebook. Happy Friday. Greetings from Alexandria, Virginia, Baltimore, Maryland, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Silver Spring, Maryland. The collective ACB staff is with you today. So we're going to do a quick sound off here. Cindy Hollis, say hello.
Hey there.
Claire Stanley.
Hey, everybody.
Tony Stevens.
Hi-ho.
And Clark Rackful.
Ahoy, hoy.
Ahoy, hoy to you, sir. And also the maven of Facebook Live, Kelly Gask.
Hello.
Hello. So we thought we would get together today and just for a few minutes sort of share in the goodness that was our national conference and convention last week. Was so proud and really energized by the goodwill and energy that came from all of the content that we put together for you all out there. Much of it was streamed live through Facebook, which was awesome. All of our general sessions, as well as our primetime events at night. So folks that are followers of the American Council of the Blind had a lot of content available to consume through Facebook, which was awesome. So I thought what we would do is just kind of take a few minutes today and have each one of us talk about a couple of highlights that they either experienced firsthand or observed through just participating in the 2020 ACB National Conference and Convention. So just to kick things off, this process of turning an in-person convention into a virtual convention was it was daunting and challenging, to say the very least. But through dedicated teammates, some of whom are on with us today, others that are not on with us today, and then a ton of volunteer member support, we were able to pull this off through the use of Zoom webinar, Facebook Live. Much of the content that you witnessed last week that was video content is being uploaded as we speak to our YouTube channel. So I want to encourage folks to go there as well as our podcast feed on acbradio.org. So please go there, check that stuff out. Over what, Tony, 250 hours worth of content altogether?
Just at about 250, yeah.
Yeah, pretty amazing. 108 breakouts, 400, I believe, panelists. So pretty amazing numbers, loads of interesting and informative content, excellent speakers. And I am just so proud as one of the leaders of this organization to have been able to participate, but also just hang out and listen through ACB Radio, through my Amazon Echo, all these different platforms we were able to bring to bear for folks, to make it accessible for folks to engage. So a couple of my personal favorites that took place during the convention. I really enjoyed, just in general, the primetime events that we put on. These are events that we've never had before at night, because we've generally had more social events going on in the evening at an in-person convention. But the audio description project industry panel was a pretty amazing couple hours worth of discussion regarding audio description in the streaming services as well as broadcast television. Having Disney, Comcast, Charter, Apple, Amazon, and I may be missing one or two, but that's a mouthful right there. And they were all there participating and having it led by one of the co-chairs of our audio description project steering committee, Carl Richardson, was fantastic. So that's one. The other one was our auction, which was just freaking amazing, intense. Having folks be so energized to come and bid on anything from loaves of bread that went for like $475 to Braille embossers that went for north of $3,000. But the passion and the good spiritedness of it all really helped to, I don't know, just show the energy and the passion that folks have for this organization. It was just so fun to listen to. I didn't even bid on anything, so pretty cool. Why don't we go around the horn here and go to Cindy Hollis? Cindy, what are some of your favorite memories or events that you observed?
I feel like I thought that we were going to be missing so much not being in person. And I thought it was going to be kind of an easy week. And I just didn't know how it was all going to play out. I was as tired at the end of every day as I would be if I was at a real convention. I was up as late as I would have been at any other convention, maybe even later. And the people, I felt so connected with everyone that I think that was really my biggest takeaway was we offered so much content, and I was, I was jumping around helping with hosting a lot of the programming along with another 12 volunteers, which, so I guess one of my thoughts is how, we didn't know that this was going to happen. And, even when the community call started, we didn't know that we would end up at a virtual convention. But that was a real wonderful, appetizer, I think, to the final meal of convention. The big event, and we ended up training a lot of people to be hosts, and they volunteered, and many of them never had been to a convention before. And there they were giving back to our organization. And there were so many people, so many hands working behind the scenes, but we were all over the country. We weren't in the same place. We were everywhere.
It's kind of
And
wild,
yet
isn't it?
it is, when you think about that. I mean, we're talking hundreds of people, from editing, recordings to, ACB radio and hosting, and then the panelists, and everybody came together, and it had the feel that we were all in that room. It was just amazing. Yes, the content, amazing. I so professional and well done. And to know that we can listen to convention, there's no way you could take all of that in, any one person. There were 4 and 5 things going on at a time sometimes. And so, you can't clone yourself. And even if you try to listen to 3 things at once in your home, you're not getting it all. But we get to go back and enjoy convention for the next several months if we want to. And some of us will be. And then just one final thought is, it was just a kind of an impromptu thing to start meeting in the evenings as a community and getting people together. And people were showing up in upwards of 90 people. And then we did this one at the end of the banquet, and there were 160 people when we started. And I think people continued to come in. So I don't know exactly our numbers. There were 360 people that were listening on ACB radio when we started. We were there for 3.5 hours. Anybody that wanted to share, we allowed them to share. It was such an amazing celebration, and just that sense of community. And I'll just never forget it. And so proud, and just, I goosebumps, seriously, when I think about the impact and all the new people, first timers that were there and felt like they were there because they were, and yeah, just the love and unity of ACB was felt. So
Awesome. Excellent. Thanks, Cindy. Claire Stanley with Tulane. Claire played a role early on in the convention with Pick of the Litter and
That's right.
the episodes and your Q&A. That's pretty cool.
That was
What
pretty
else sort of tripped your fancy?
tripped my fancy. There were a couple things that I really enjoyed a lot. First of all, I got to hang out with the scholarship winners. I wish I could have hung out with them in person, but that is okay. We still got to spend a lot of time together virtually. And oh my gosh, I won't call them kids because they were the whole age range across the board, but our scholarship winners were outstanding. I don't want to say this year because every year they're outstanding, but they were amazing this year. I feel like if that's the future of ACB, we are in great hands. Just doing some of the coolest things, a lot of engineers and computer scientists and programmers, quite a few musicians, people going into rehab work, that kind of thing, just the whole spectrum of things, marketing, just amazing scholarship winners. So it was a lot of fun to get to participate in a few different events with them and just learn who they are and where they're from and what they're going to do. And again, if that's the future of ACB, we are looking good. Just really great people to get to know. So, and in fact, we even had a few scholarship winners who were coming around for their second time. So they've won scholarships before and we're back for a second scholarship or so on. So pretty exciting to see these people who are committed and are doing great in school and are going on to do some great things. So I think that was one of the parts that I particularly really enjoyed. And then the second thing I really enjoyed, and I'm not biased because it's what I do, but the transportation forum was outstanding.
Yes.
For those who don't know, the transportation forum was built out of a resolution that was passed in 2019. It was kind of a sub-conference to talk about transportation issues for the blind community. And the goal is to take everything that came from that, all the notes, all the ideas, to pack them into an idea and then hand them off to those of us in the national office to know kind of where we're going to go with transportation. What's going to drive us forward, if you will.
How fun is that?
She's been working on that since the convention.
They were amazing. So we had breakout sessions where literally, if it was in person, the idea was that we'd be sitting around round tables having discussions. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Round tables would not have worked because instead of 20 people sitting around a table, we had hundreds of people. So it's really exciting to get to hear the input of literally, instead of 20 people, 200 people. So it's pretty exciting to get to learn from everybody and hear what they had to say and be able to take that back now to the national office and help advocate for the transportation needs of our members. So pretty exciting.
Agreed. Awesome. Tony, what about you? You got to speak a couple different times during our general sessions, giving a development report and talking about angels. And you played a very big role actually behind the scenes in helping to stream all of the breakout sessions in the middle of the afternoon and doing the pre and post transition shows with Debbie Hazelton on ACB Radio and putting together all of those beautiful, most of all of those video pieces that ran during general session. So ultimately, you didn't really have much going on.
Not really, no. No, it was pretty, I kind of sat back and relaxed. No, it was a whirlwind week. It raced by. It's always when you're busy, and it was 16-hour days for the most part. But those days just fly by to be so long, and it was wonderful. I think a sense of the great things coming out of it was the sense of giving, and as a development director specifically, that was just such a heartwarming experience to see so many people step up, and we had over $17,000 in individual sponsors, $264,000 in corporate sponsors. We had the auction raised $33,365. We're at $84,000 for the walk now. We're almost to our $90,000 limit for the walk. We're almost to the finish line, everybody. So you can go to the acbconvention.org website and look out the ACB walk to find out who's in the top teams, but also too, if there's a way for us to get us 6 weeks left and 6 miles. So we're almost there, everybody. So the walk, was fantastic, and all the volunteers that help out with those committees, especially the auction, they were amazing. How we literally had from Orlando to Honolulu auctioneers all around the country, north, south, east, west, across the Pacific. And it was just an amazing opportunity of, you get on the transportation summit and there'd be 800 people listening in live, which was fantastic. That's a lot of people in a smelly conference room of people sweating before ACB. So I'm glad it was virtual. That would have been a lot of dogs stepping on their tails, so. But yeah, it was all in all just an amazing event, and it's still hard to believe that a week has flown by. It seems like time has gone by even faster after the convention. I can't believe it was a week ago we were getting everything ready. Rick Morin played such a key part, but we were working to run everything as a contingency in Washington, D.C. if we really needed to, as a backup. And, but Rick was doing a great job, Rick Morin, who was leading our control room up in Boston. But everything we were doing, we were trying to mirror in DC, and sort of just as a backup contingency. And so it was thanks to Kelly. Kelly stressed out more than once, I know, just when we were standing by and waiting to see if we needed to jump in. And luckily we didn't have to, and it was a long week, to be honest.
Yes. It was long, and yet it went by quick at points.
It did go by quick,
time, yeah.
But it was just. But when you put it in the frame of that context that you were mentioning all the things going on, you don't realize how much stuff a small group of people put out there. I mean, there were a lot of volunteers that helped on the back end and Zoom meetings and facilitators. But on the technical side, there was, we would get together weekly on a call with about a dozen of us, 13 of us, Baker's dozen. And we were doing that for months, and it seemed like it would never get here. But then as soon as it got here, it raced by.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. Good stuff. Well, thanks, Tony. Clark, ahoy, hoy, my good man. What are some of your highlights other than the advocacy boot camp that
other than the advocacy boot camp? What about the advocacy boot camp? And not just the boot camp, but all of the advocacy going on within ACB and the convention. So Claire touched on some of it with the transportation forum. We held the advocacy boot camp in another primetime session with a shout out from Senator Feinstein. So that was awesome. And transportation forum, all the great advocacy work going there through the transportation and environmental access committees. Eric, you touched on the industry panel. Big shout out to Netflix for joining that panel as well. And
I knew I forgot one.
Yeah, all the partners and collaborators that ADP and ACB have been working with to do the evangelism of audio description and accessible user interfaces. And on that same note, the banquet keynote from Roya Samuelson, audio describer of the stars. And for everyone who would like to, that has now been captured on YouTube as well. So I know my wife and I were just watching that last night during dinner because he crammed so much into that presentation. It's like, wait, did I catch everything? He was also talking like a mile a minute.
Yes.
It was, yeah.
Which he can do because he's a pro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I felt sorry for our captioners trying to keep up with them.
Yeah. And also, Claire and I have received such great member outreach, not only from the accessible exercise and fitness equipment panel on Saturday, along with the Information Access Committee's 411, but also on the panel we did with the Federal Communications Commission in the week. Many of the students have been reaching out, sharing inaccessibility issues as folks move to remote learning environments with COVID-19 and inaccessible classroom technology. So it's something that it's going to be the gift that keeps on giving.
Awesome. I think that's the second time I've heard you say that.
It is, but only you and I knew that until now.
Well, folks need to know about the podcast on acbradio.org/acb-convention. Did we already mention that at some point?
I
Yeah,
don't think we
yeah.
did, but there will
Yeah, I
be a
think so.
post a little bit later on today that that lets
Yeah.
people know how they can
That's right.
subscribe to that.
Yeah. Cindy
We're-
already touched on it a little bit with that 250 hours of archived content.
Mhm.
But again, I'll point people to the ACB convention YouTube channel in addition to those podcasts. And if you missed the advocacy boot camp the first time, that's now available on the ACB advocacy update as a podcast this week.
Sweet. Yeah, there's just a ton of content, and actually, Kelly, I'm going to ask you to go next, but Kelly and I worked earlier today on our weekly Dots and Dashes newsletter that goes out, and some of the content that was referenced here is going to be included in Dots and Dashes. So, Kelly, feel free to chat a little bit about a couple of your favorite moments, but why don't you take folks through the Dots and Dashes that's going to go out and that we're going to post to social media as well.
Yeah, so let me pull up my dots and dashes in the background here. But this week on Dots and Dashes, we have so much great content. There was so much good stuff that happened during the week last week. It was actually kind of hard to cram it all into one edition. So some of this stuff we'll be featuring next week in our edition of Dots and Dashes. But yeah, we're going to go through. If you guys want to listen to our convention podcasts, we'll have links for how to download the podcast, as well as if you want to subscribe to it. We'll have a link to Roy Samuelson's audio description presentation during the banquet, as well as a link to our Spoken RX press release. CVS announced a new feature of their app. We put this out over social media last week, but it's pretty cool. They're the first really big organization to have a feature that can read prescriptions for people who are blind. So we'll have a link to that, as well as a link to Disney put out a press release about how we gave them an Audio Description Achievement Award, or Disney Plus. So we'll have a link to that as well. Along with yesterday, we released our ACB advocacy update featuring the ACB advocacy bootcamp, which was great. And we're hoping that we can host maybe a couple more Facebook Lives concerning the same subject. We also provide links for our walk page. And then additionally, we'll provide some information about those COVID-19 relief packages that went out for blind Americans. But I'm always on the back end of things. I'm usually not one of the more forward facing people. And it was just, first of all, really nice to work with the team, and specifically with Tony. Tony and I were kind of weathering the craziness in the office together. And it was a good bonding experience to be able to be like, we could do this, and we have such a great team in general. We have so many awesome people that we work with. So that was really great. But I handle all of our social media stuff. So I was able to see people's comments on our Facebook Live as they were happening, comments from our community page for people that were asking questions about different convention related items. And by the way, if you're not a part of our community page, it's ACB Community. ACB Community, it's a great place for you to come and speak about any sort of topics that concern our community, any ACB related topics. We want anybody and everybody to join, so please join us. And yeah, so I feel really fortunate. I was able to see people joining from different countries on our Facebook Live, and just seeing some really good interaction on Twitter and all of our social media pages. So thank you to everybody that joined us. It was so nice to be able to finally be able to connect with people that we wouldn't normally be able to have present at our convention, because not everybody can actually come to convention. So this was a great opportunity for us to connect with some other folks. So welcome everybody that's new that joined in on us, and we hope you'll join our community page.
Yay.
Awesome. Any final thoughts, guys?
I'll just say, if I can, that I haven't stopped since convention. Everybody is so pumped up. And so if you haven't joined our ACB community events yet, we do have an email that goes out each morning. and it shows the schedule for the day. There are days that we have up to 12 events going on during the day and throughout the evening. A lot of people are stepping up to do new things, and it's so exciting. So certainly we'd love to have you. It's ACB Community Events. Subscribe, all separated by a hyphen at ACB lists with an S at the end.org. You can subscribe. And there is a link on our website. If you go, what is it? Events, or what is the link? Do you remember?
So if you go to the home page on
Yeah.
our website, it is under it is under quick links, and it'll say community conference calls.
There you go. So under community conference calls, and you'll see, you know, the events. The Zoom information's not up there because we are doing that for security reasons, but you can get that email sent to you if you subscribe. So I want to encourage that. And then of course, our Facebook group, and we're getting closer to the 1,000 mark. I'd love to see that happen soon. So anyway, everyone is welcome. You don't have to be a member to participate in either of those, although we welcome you to be a member. And if you're anxious and curious about joining, want to join, there's a lot of ways that you can learn more about it. And we just did a follow-up to the convention actually last night. There was a membership call and people just asked great questions, just amazing energy. It just continues. So that recording should be up on ACB Radio's website under ACB events. So anyway, yeah.
These community
amazing.
calls have been so popular, Cindy, that we actually created a stream within ACB Radio. So folks can ask Alexa to
open
ACB Radio community.
Yep, open ACB Radio community skill if you've never done it before. And then after that, you can just ask her to open ACB Radio community. There's recorded stuff up there that from previous live events. And then and tonight we have 2 back-to-back at 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern. So ACB Radio does a roundtable, and then Mika and I do one called It's Playtime, and it's going to be fun tonight. And tomorrow night, actually, we're going to be doing an event called Saturday Night Live. It's with Wendy David and myself, and we're doing the Newlywed Game, and Eric and Rebecca are going to be on it, and Dan and Leslie Spoon, and Kim and Brian Charlson. So
awesome!
You'll just want to join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah.
Right on. We're looking forward to it. It should be a fun evening. So awesome. Well, I think we're good, guys. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon or late morning, depending upon where you are, or I guess evening if you're in Europe somewhere. But thanks so much for checking us out here on Facebook. And thank you so much for all of the engagement in the conference and conventions and the community calls. If you haven't done it yet, please come with us. We're on a pretty awesome and exciting journey as an organization. So please come with us. With that, hope everybody has a great weekend, and we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.